Charles Crowley. How are you, mate?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm really well, thank you. Really well.
Good.
So, what have you been doing recently?
What have I been doing recently? Well, wrestling's starting to come back, or at least there's like the tease of wrestling coming back, which is really cool. So I've just been preparing for that. Obviously, Progress Wrestling is back in its own way, and I've been putting a lot of time and effort into that because my journey has finally led me to Progress, and I've got some opportunity now to be creative on a grand stage, and that's all I want. That's all I've ever asked for, because now I can do what I love and I can show the world, how good I think I can be at it, and hopefully just get better and better,
That's really awesome. So, one thing I ask a lot of people is, how did you maintain focus and things on training and things during lockdown?
Yeah, good question. It wasn't 100% all the time. And I'm a really motivated person. I'm the kind of guy that gets burnt out because I'm like, well, I can't waste time because I want to get to the top. So yeah. I need to, when you hear if you've got to work 110% to get there. And I'm like, okay, great. So if I rest or, if I play a game, because I like the odd game, but then sometimes I love it. I need to just chill. But then sometimes I'm like, I could be writing something or creating something, So it's tricky because some people say, I never stopped during lockdown. And I think that's rubbish. I think you have to. And it kind of forced me to, which is really interesting. So I still gymmed. I invested in some stuff for the home gym, because your physique is a factor of, wrestling. I've just trained so I can stay ready for when wrestling comes back, but also just watched a lot of wrestling, trained my mind, trained my body. And of course, during the whole lockdown thing, I got to a point where I was like, look, I need to do something creative. What can I do? And that's the initial thing that led to you are cordially invited.
Yes, we will talk more about that soon.
Sure.
Yeah, so one thing I really want to know is how did what got you into wrestling? How old was you, and what was that thing about it,
Yeah. So wrestling for me, I got into it when I was in school. I'd probably say 14, 15, but I didn't massively watch it at that time. It wasn't casually on in my house like some people say, my parents used to watch it. It's my parents definitely didn't watch it.
Yeah.
But I saw glimpses of it. I thought it was so cool. And then just kind of as I got older, I saw more of it. And then I saw people like Edge, absolute favorite. I love Edge. And just when I watched Edge, I was cheering for Edge when he faced The Undertaker. And all my friends were like, yeah, but Undertaker's great. I was like, what are you talking about? Don't get me wrong, Undertaker's great, but at that time I was like, this guy's oozing charisma, this Edge guy. I was like, how can you not think he's the coolest thing? So Edge got me sucked in, Eddie Guerrero, people like that, people that have this charisma, beating off them. And then I got older and I kept watching it. And then I saw, because that's what drew me into wrestling, right? The characters.
Yeah.
And then I watched it and I saw some and I thought, some of these guys aren't drawing me in. And then it got me thinking. I was like, why? And then I thought, I wonder if they did this, maybe it would work for them. And then I thought, well, hold on a minute. If I can potentially figure that out, probably, who knows if I knew what I was talking about, but I thought maybe I can do this. And then I went to training, and then I literally got addicted. And you'll hear a lot of wrestlers say that. It's you start and then you just get addicted.
Yeah.
There is nothing like it, man. And since then I've just a healthy obsession to it, because I just want to be great. And the more you wrestle, the more you find out about it, the more you find these intricacies and nuances, and it's layered, man. It's very exciting.
So cool. It's it's always good to hear someone's story, how they got into it, because everybody's different, and this is one of the most inspiring ones, because your character's so cool, it's one of the most craziest characters, and so let's get into how you got into the that carnival kind of show you did on on New Year's. I can't remember what it's called. My head's just gone blank.
Cool. It's called You're Cordially Invited.
That's the one, yeah.
And just before we do, you were saying like how cool is that people come from different backgrounds in wrestling. Like I think that's the thing with me that you'll find is different from probably the majority of wrestlers, is that a lot of wrestlers get into it and they understand that the technical side first. But I came in with like years of training and experience with like the character side of things. So my journey's been quite different to a lot of people. There's other people like Spike Trevay. He's very good on the mic, man. Yeah, exceptional. And like, so kind of relate to kind of his journey, you see, as well. But yeah, and because of that, and because of that experience I had, that's what allowed me to create You're Cordially Invited, which was my New Year short film. And, you know, I've made other films in the past outside of wrestling. And I've performed in them, I've written them, produced, directed them. And I kind of thought, like, you know, there's no wrestling and there's probably not going to be any live wrestling for a while. And I looked at this government document and it was like, filming is allowed if there's these rules and, you know, all this like strict stuff. And I was like, huh. And I was like, I mean, I'm forced now to think outside the box. I was like, maybe I can create some kind of hybrid short film because I've got the contacts, I've got the experience. And then I just thought, you know what, if I did do this, because I can't do anything half-assed, man, it's got to be amazing.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, sometimes I can be hard on myself because of that, because I'm like, oh, I didn't quite get where I wanted to. But if you aim higher, you're going to get higher, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
So I started writing and I was like, I'm going to do this. And I tell you what I'm going to give to the fans during a hard time as well, during all of that. Like, everyone was really downtrodden and sad. And I thought, you know what? If I can bring in new faces, old faces, and just some surprises that you get from live wrestling, I was like, man, if I can do that just to make someone smile for a second and do it in a way that Brit wrestlers never seen, because British wrestling, there's a little bit less money in it. So it's harder to produce something at that quality, because that was cinematic quality, you know. I got all like the top kit in there. And yes, people donated, which was great. So thankful. But it was a lot of my money as well. And I was like, you know what? It's worth it because this is going to go down in history in some form. And now that's there forever. And I'm so proud of it.
It was, honestly, it was so amazing. Like, I was really like in my downtime at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And like me and my mates watched it and we're like, holy shit, what did we just watch? Like, it was that like effect on us. It was like just mind blown, you know. And seeing like so many like new and old faces, like you said, it was just like one of the coolest things going.
But that's the thing, like, no one, because I didn't let people know what it was gonna be. I just teased these people, and everyone was like, "Well, is it a show? Like, and what's it gonna be? Is it gonna be any good?" Because Crowley's not a promoter, and so that I loved that because I knew roughly what I was gonna deliver, and I was hoping people loved it, and the response was so positive, man. The reactions like yours, it was what it makes it all worth it. Like, that was so cool.
No, it was awesome, honestly. Like, just seeing like some of like the really cool like wrestlers, and then you got like wrestlers that I haven't really seen, and I'm a big independent fan, you know.
Yeah.
And like, there's some guys I hadn't seen much of before, and just seeing them like performing it and stuff, it was just like mind blowing, you know. And like the twist at the end was absolutely amazing.
Nice. I'm so glad, man. I tried to give it, like, you know, I wanted to shock people, so they're watching it. I was watching the YouTube live stream as it played live for the first time, because I had that open because I wanted to see people's reactions, and good or bad. I was expecting bad as well because it was a negative time in pro wrestling. And when you're putting something out into like a negative environment, you kind of have to expect it. And I wouldn't have been mad. I'd been like, fine, you know, you can't just change people's moods. But man, it was so positive. About a minute in, people were like, whoa, this is already like, what am I watching?
Yeah, it was so cool. Like seeing Gene Money in it and stuff. It was like, oh my god, like, it's just like still crazy to think about it, you know.
That's so cool. But that's the thing, and that's the beauty of film, is that that's there, man. Like, nothing beats that in the moment watching it, but just to get that feeling back, you can go back and watch it at some times when you're kind of thinking it, and hopefully maybe if the stars align, there can be like future versions as well.
Definitely, that would be so cool. So cool, you know. And so let's talk about progress.
Cool.
So you started off as the commentator, and like again, I was mind blown. You know, you and it was just so cool. Like how well you done. You know.
Cheers, man.
What was it like on the first time being a commentator for Progress?
Well, this is the thing. So, and thank you for because I was like, I got a message from them and they said, look, we've seen your stuff, we've heard good things from people backstage, and you're super creative and you're a good talker. Would you like to do commentary? And I was like, ooh, I was like, cause I'm not a commentator, I'm a wrestler. No. So yeah. I was like, and I really thought about it because I was like, I want to wrestle, and that's for sure in my head. And I said, but I tell you what, that'd be such a fun way to, you know, get my foot in the door, but also learn a new skill. I know I'm a good talker. Good talker doesn't translate to good commentator, but like I learned a lot very quickly, and especially alongside Hustle Malone, that's an exceptional talker as well.
Yeah,
he has just come into that role so well. He's got so much to offer. But alongside him, man, we get on very well. So we had a nice dynamic of like, you know, commentary, but also banter. But I tell you what, man, it was so fun. And I learned, because, you know, I'm 3 years into my wrestling journey. And,
wow.
Yeah, so I'm probably, if not definitely, the least experienced wrestler on Progress.
Yeah.
And I'm aware of that. You know, it doesn't. It's not like a negative thing. It just means that it's early days for me. So, and even for the people that have been there longer, we're all constantly learning. So I learned so much from comms. But bear in mind, I'm there watching Cara Noir matches every single like week and all this kind of stuff, and I'm watching all these like top level performers up close, analyzing it. You know, on the mic.
Yeah.
Like, huge amount. But I always said to Progress is, look, I love this, but I'm here to wrestle. I know that I've got something to give. And they heard me, and they're very open to creative ideas because it's a brand new Progress, and they're such like a good place to work. They're so positive.
Yeah.
So I said to them, I said, look, I'll do this, but at this point, here's my thoughts. Here's an idea. I want to back this guy, and I feel like we can create something that's really interesting, really unique, and I think we can get eyes on the product via this. Maybe you know, they probably wouldn't have expected to use me or me with Elijah in that way, but I said, let me show you what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, that sounds great. If you can do it, let's have a look. And they put their faith in me, and hopefully it's paying off.
No, when it was a big shock, you know. I haven't seen Progress in a few weeks, and when I saw it on Twitter and things, I was like, what? Like, I was like, oh my god, you know, I was like mind blown. And then this week, Elijah's got the big match, the title match. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Wins, you know. I saw Cara Noir live win the title, and I think Elijah would be an outstanding, you know.
But that's it. The thing is, and the whole Elijah thing, like people sometimes say, oh, wrestling, like, which bit's true, which bit's not. There is no doubt Elijah is exceptional. He's got the look, he's got the talent. He is one of the top wrestlers without a doubt, and he's constantly getting better. And this is the thing, like he needs that spotlight to show who he is, and show that he's got layers and all this kind of stuff. And that's why I'm there, because I'm quite good at grabbing the spotlight because I'm loud and I'm creative, and like next to him, suddenly that gets eyes on him. So yeah, this match on Saturday is huge for everyone involved, huge for me and Elijah. And you know what? Dare I say it? I think it's huge for Cara as well, because people don't think that way, but like this is going to be a must-see match, and that includes Cara as well.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it could be one of Progress' best matches since they've come back, you know.
Absolutely.
I really do, and this is going to be one show that I'm going to come back and watch, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a few weeks, but I think this is going to be one that I don't want to miss.
Absolutely, no, it is definitely, you do not want to miss this show, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I can't wait, honestly. So talking about progress and things, what kind of goals, like a lot of wrestlers say they don't have goals, but like do you have any like little big goals for the next year, or let's say?
Yeah, man. Oh, I definitely have goals. I have goals where like, the goalposts might change slightly, but like I'm a firm believer that you've got to have goals. I
Yeah.
think for me, it's within the next year, it's to rise up the ranks within Progress as a wrestler. Um, and but in entertaining fashion. That is always the point of Crowley. It's like, sure, I want to be at a point where I can have these banging wrestling matches, but mate, I just want to do it differently. I want to
Yeah.
be unique. I want to do it in the way that Crowley would do it, and that's really important to me. So within the next year, that's certainly a factor. But for me, I'm very aware NXT UK is there as well, but for me, it's quite important. I want to go to Japan. I
Oh,
really, really
yeah.
want to go to Japan. I think that would be incredible for me as a performer and as a human being. So that's definitely a goal for me.
I can see you going to Japan 100%. The character and just like your wrestling, I really think you would fit in. Like even New Japan Pro Wrestling, like
Yeah,
the
man.
character you have is just like absolutely amazing. And like so, like I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's just so cool how you like do your character.
No, that's cool, man, and that's great that it's hard to explain because something that I take a lot of pride in is that Crowley is layered, man.
Yeah,
You can't just say Crowley's this because Crowley is his own being.
yeah,
It's hard to explain Crowley. Just watch and you'll get it. That's what I want to get across. Like
yeah.
that's something I take a lot of pride in. So thanks, man. I appreciate that a lot.
No, no problem at all. So talking about goals, is there any matches that you really want to have?
Well, the obvious one would be Kara because
Yeah,
Kara is the champion. But my reasons are because he is an exceptionally creative guy.
he
Um,
is very creative.
that's the thing. He's doing this. His goal is similar in the sense that he wants to change the game. He wants to be unique. He wants to present wrestling in a new way and show that it can be played with. Because wrestling's always changing. It's always evolving. You look at every era of wrestling, the style changes. And he's going to be a big factor of that, and I want to be as well. So facing him would be amazing.
Yeah,
And tell you who I'd like to wrestle at some point, Elijah, because there's another reason why I thought we'd be a good pairing. It's because it's early days for me, and he is certainly got a lot more experience than me, but especially, like I said earlier, he's one of these wrestlers that has understood the wrestling side first. I'm
yeah,
the character side first, and we can both. It's like a mutually beneficial relationship because I can learn loads from him, and he hopefully can learn loads from me. And I just think we're both going to come out stronger at the end of it. But it would be such a challenge and a test to face him because I think I'd learn loads. But I tell you what, I think he'd be surprised in what I'm capable of. So that
yeah,
would be really interesting.
yeah. That would be another like top match that no one would want to miss. That's absolutely crazy. So this is pretty much the end now. Is there anywhere people? Well, obviously there's some way people can find you. What's your social media handles where people can like find you and follow your stuff?
So social media, I'm pretty sure Twitter, Instagram, they're both at Crowley Carnival. Facebook, I'm not sure. It might literally just be typing Charles Crowley. I'll
Yeah,
pop
I
up.
think it's Charles Crowley. Yeah, Facebook.
Awesome. And yeah, and I've got a YouTube channel where I'm slowly kind of putting little bits up. It's mainly promos and stuff, but it's because it's tricky because it's been a long time since I've wrestled and I want to put up fresh stuff. I've improved so much, and
Yeah.
I've got a more mature mindset about wrestling. I've learned so much, so I want to present the new me via matches. So hopefully some new matches coming up soon with live shows starting up. But yeah, I've got a YouTube channel as well, so subscribe to that, please.
Guys, if you enjoyed this interview, please make sure you like and subscribe, share all over. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, Charles. Thank you so much.
You legend, Carl. Thank you so much.